Welcome everyone to Unscripted Coding. Today we're going to talk about more AI models, and in particular using Groq as an API for these models. Now, very quickly, Groq is a company focused on creating chips to really speed up AI inferences. Now, that may not mean a whole lot, but what it means is that instead of trying to speed up the training process, it's trying to speed up the rate at which you can use those models and get a response. And I think the fastest way we can figure this out and watch this happen is we'll go on Groq's chatbot and just pick one of these random messages here. And you can see that I didn't speed up the video at all. It just answered questions way, way, way faster than ChatGPT, Gemini, Bing Chat, whatever you're using. And we'll try another one really quickly. How do I publish a video on YouTube? Random question, and we're going to see that it's going to answer this a lot quicker. And just to make this a bit more apples to apples, we're going to use Llama 3's large 70 billion parameter model. And you can see it spit out the response much quicker than before. Now, these are models that hopefully you're familiar with already. We have Llama 3, Gemma, and Mixtral. Probably most familiar with Llama 3, but these are open source models. So Groq is not in the business of creating new models, training new models. It's just taking what's out there in the domain, open source, and speeding up the process drastically. Now, for one, this is a better user experience in some ways. I find it very helpful that it is responding quickly. That's not to say it's always necessary, but ChatGPT in particular has been very slow for me lately, so I appreciate that these are coming along quicker than before. But in trying to bring up the speed, they've also become much, much, much more efficient. And so you'll see that their pricing is extremely competitive. For Llama 3, 8 billion parameters, for example, the price is 5 cents and 10 cents for input and output. Now, I was ecstatic to find any scale, which I talked about in a recent video, when they were doing a flat 15 cents per million tokens input output, so 15. And so reducing it by a third and to a third and 2/3 here, mental math, is quite an achievement. So you're getting speed, you're getting cheaper pricing. The only problem is right now Groq is actually just in a free beta right now. So they're not ready for commercial use and getting payments ready, but you can imagine the moment these things switch over, I will be switching some of my systems to take advantage of the lower pricing. Okay, that was a whole lot of talking about, marketing material for Groq, but how do I actually set this up? Well, if you go back, Groq has a console.groq.com, just like everyone else, has a very familiar looking playground here. What is, I guess, a couple noteworthy things. Groq doesn't have that many models, so I don't know if their plan is to expand this past to many more once it's past beta, but for now you don't get a whole lot of options. It's all right between Mixtral and Llama 3. I think you have some really good models to choose from. Gemma 7 billion, the Google small model has not been great, so I wouldn't recommend it, but let's pick, say, Llama 3. You can fiddle with the temperature just like OpenAI. Let's set the max token to 2400 or so. I don't usually like stream, especially when Groq is performing so fast. And JSON mode is really helpful as well, but let's not use that. I am going to ignore these other ones. Let's just keep that one. You are a helpful AI assistant who will help me turn text into rhyming poems. I don't know why that occurred to me, but let's turn this around and say, please turn the following into a rhyming poem. The sky is dark. The moon is covered by clouds. I am in a dark forest awaiting my friends. This may not be a good idea. I don't know what this is, but let's turn this into a rhyming poem. Llama 3, 70 billion parameters. We click submit. Sight, night, still, thrill, bold, unfold, confess, success. That's great. And so how are we going to use this? If you look at the code, unfortunately, Groq doesn't use OpenAI's library like Anyscale does. So you will need to switch from OpenAI to importing Groq. But other than that, it has kept the format exactly the same. You will need to open a client. You'll create a chat completions. You're going to specify the model. It's not going to be GPT-4 on OpenAI, but what this means is that as soon as you import Groq instead of OpenAI, you can almost plug and play the rest of all of this into your existing OpenAI code. And I love that most of these third-party lesser known tools like Anyscale are all playing very friendly with OpenAI, and so you can make very minimal changes. All of this more or less is the same except the model, and then you just switch your client and you switch your import. So it's incredibly simple to move this over. That said, if you're coming from, say, Claude Anthropic, or even say Microsoft Azure and how they handle their models, they're all a little bit different. So everyone is clearly gunning for OpenAI users right now, which makes sense. They're the elephant in the room. I'm not going to go much further than this, but you create an API key and you could start using Groq right away. And I hope you have fun trying to play around with this, because as soon as you get this kind of speed, it does unlock new possibilities. It does create new ways for you to engage with AI that you couldn't really do before. And so one example of this is I have a bunch of GPT wrappers on the web right now, and they all have kind of warnings that say it'll take 15 to 30 seconds for a response to do what you want it to do. This kind of speed really changes how you interface with it, so that it's not you submit something and you wait for a response. You can really generate on the fly. And so for me, one of the things I'm thinking about is, how do I turn this into a video game or something interactive, like a interactive story where it just keeps going. As it stands right now, if you do chatgpt, it takes a long while to write the next segment of the story. So you might have, say, a story that sends you a new chapter every hour, or sends you a new chapter via email, but you're not going to have that very, very smooth experience of reading this, whereas Groq, at this speed, you can generate on the fly quite reliably, quite quickly. But those are just some of the things you want to think about, that these tools are opening new possibilities. Anyways, I've talked enough about a fairly simple video. I hope you guys will go out and try it. I'm very excited to switch some of my services into these cheaper prices, honestly, more than the speed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.